want to talk a little bit about Immanuel Iheanacho, the big 6'6", 350-pound offensive tackle. Sounds like, based on your reporting, he has a new number one.
It's Oregon, the Oregon Ducks, man. And I'm telling you, when you're talking about Oregon, people always are quick to say, Phil Knight, the blank checks, yada, yada, yada. Look, Oregon's obviously invested in an NIL standpoint, but Iheanacho doesn't even have his agent lined up yet. So those conversations, if he's having any NIL conversations, it's very early in that process. He loves Oregon for the reasons of they're playing at a high level. They're the number one team in the country. So the proof is in the pudding on the field. Second, there isn't a coaching staff that does a better job of building meaningful relationships from the head coach to the position coach. Maybe there's a couple that match it, but then when you compound that they're the number one team in the country, no one is putting that out there right now. Dan Lanning is in the middle of all their premier recruiting battles. I talked to Naeem Alford, who flipped from Ohio State to Oregon on the last day of the process, also strongly considered Auburn. He's here at the Under Armour All-America game. And he said Oregon was his best relationship. So it starts with Dan Lanning. Then it goes, in this case, with Iheanacho, Alik Terry. So the offensive line coach did a great job. People just love the vibe around Oregon, the way they pour into their athletes. So it was Georgia. Oregon's the leader now. Georgia's a close second. So the Bulldogs still very much in it for Manny as well. Penn State, Phil Trotwine's one of his best relationships. He's been up to nearby Penn State several times, loves their pedigree, track record of development, play style. Penn State's in the top three. Maryland, they already won out for Zion Ely. I'm three's number one ranked player in the country. Manny has visited Maryland recently. They're in the middle of that one. Do they have some more magic in their plans in this 2026 recruiting cycle? But the first schools that I mentioned for him would be Oregon, Georgia, then Penn State. And then Texas A&M's a program he's going to try and visit here in the new year as well.
Wow. When do you think Iheanacho could be ready to make a decision?
Well, I think all these guys are going to try and come off the board before the start of their senior seasons. Again, he has been able to take several visits. He's going to take some visits in the spring. He's going to take some official visits in the summer. By then, he'll have his representation for NIL, so he'll be able to get all of that buttoned up. And look, when these prospects, the offers that they're going to get from these collectives and their opportunities, they want to get this all buttoned up and done going into the season as well, so they can then start working on their current roster retention, who's getting raises there and all that. So for these 5-star recruitments, it's setting up for most of them to be done by the summer.